Welcome to AI Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Restoring UK public sector will take 2 parliamentary terms, warns think tank. Michael Cohen sent fake AI hallucinated legal cases to his attorney for use in court. Japan banks boost funding to late-stage startups. Were you team transitory or team doom? South Korea's military has a new enemy, population math. Restoring UK public sector will take 2 parliamentary terms, warns think tank. Financial Times. The UK will need 2 terms of government to restore public services to pre-pandemic levels, according to a report by the Institute for Public Policy Research. It said that waiting lists for the National Health Service are unlikely to return to 2010 levels for a decade, while the court system is not expected to return to pre-pandemic levels until 2033. The report also warned that narrowing the attainment gap between wealthier and poorer secondary school pupils would require more than 1 parliamentary term. The think tank said significant investment and bold reforms would be needed to improve public services. Michael Cohen sent fake AI hallucinated legal cases to his attorney for use in court. The Sydney Morning Herald. Michael Cohen, former personal lawyer to Donald Trump, has revealed that he unwittingly used bogus artificial intelligence-generated legal citations in a court filing. Cohen said he found the citations while conducting research using Google Bard and was not aware that the service could generate non-existent cases. The AI-generated cases were cited in an attempt to end Cohen's court supervision early. Cohen blamed his lawyer and friend, David M. Schwartz, for failing to verify the citations before submitting them to the judge. Japan banks boost funding to late-stage startups. Nikkei Asia. Japanese banks, including Sumitomo Mitsui Trust Bank, are increasing their support for late-stage startups in an attempt to address the lack of funding available at this phase of development. Sumitomo Mitsui Trust Bank plans to supply 50 billion yen, $350 million, between fiscal 2023 and fiscal 2025 to later-stage startups, while Sumitomo Mitsui Trust Asset Management will establish a crossover fund that invests in businesses before they go public. Late-stage companies in Japan receive less than 40% of venture capital money, compared to 70% to 90% in the US and China. Were you team transitory or team doom? Foreign policy. The fight against inflation in the United States has been successful, with inflation rates now at levels that central banks are ready to accept. This has vindicated those who argued that inflation was a transitory phenomenon that would resolve on its own. However, there is still a need for further research to understand how price shocks work and how they can lead to price gouging behavior. The role of central bank policy in bringing down inflation is also under scrutiny, as it is not entirely clear how interest rate increases have contributed to this. Artificial intelligence, AI, was a hot topic in 2023, with discussions about its potential to transform society. However, there may have been some overhyping of AI, as economic estimates of its impact do not align with the more extreme claims about a singularity or fundamental shifts in humanity's relationship with technology. While AI has the potential to improve growth trajectories and labor productivity, its transformative effects may be more incremental and gradual, similar to historical industrial revolutions. In terms of China's economy, measuring GDP using market exchange rates may not be the most accurate method, as it is subject to fluctuations in exchange rates. When using purchasing power parity adjusted dollars, which provide a more meaningful comparison, China's economy has already surpassed that of the United States. China's larger population and its capacity to sustain a high standard of living for its citizens contribute to its economic power and should not be overlooked. The conflict between Ukraine and Russia highlights the importance of economic power in military conflicts. Russia's mobilization capacity and military-industrial complex far exceed that of Ukraine and the Western countries supporting it. This has been a humbling realization for those who believed that macroeconomics could accurately predict the resilience of countries in times of conflict. It is also a reminder that economic pressure alone may not be enough to deter or weaken a determined aggressor. South Korea's military has a new enemy, population math. CNN. South Korea's critics are calling for the country to up its military technology to counteract any shortfall in manpower caused by the country's falling birth rate. The country has the world's lowest birth rate, with only 0.78 children per woman over a lifetime. To maintain current troop levels, South Korea's military needs to enlist or conscript 200,000 soldiers a year. However, in 2022, fewer than 250,000 babies were born. Korean defense authorities have had this long-standing policy that we would go from a manpower-centric military to a technology-oriented military, says Chun In-bum, a former lieutenant general in the South Korean army. The AI revolution's first year, has anything changed? Financial Times. Generative AI, or the ability of computers to generate text or images that resemble human work, has been hailed as a potentially transformative technology. However, doubts about its practical usefulness and limitations have surfaced. Generative AI models are capable of producing breathtaking artistry, but they also have a tendency to generate inaccurate information and responses that have little relation to reality. Despite these shortcomings, the technology has sparked a race in the tech industry to bring it from the research lab into everyday use. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella compared the impact of generative AI to the invention of the web browser, while Google CEO Sundar Pichai said AI would be more important than fire or electricity. Eric Brynjolfsson, a professor at Stanford University, predicts that generative AI could spur a productivity boom across the global economy. Trump's lawyers say he may testify at January trial over defamation damages in sex abuse case. Associated Press. Lawyers for Donald Trump have said that he may testify at a trial set to determine how much he owes a journalist he allegedly defamed. Jean Carroll is seeking $10 million in compensatory damages and more in punitive damages after a jury last May found that Trump had sexually abused her. Trump's lawyers have requested that the jury not be shown the transcript of a deposition he made in October, as he has been named as a witness in the trial. The trial is set to begin on January 16 and is expected to last for 1 week. ChatGPT and Me, Cathy Marie Buchanan's investigation into AI's use of copyrighted material. The Globe and Mail. Author Cathy Marie Buchanan discovered that her novels had been used to train AI systems without her permission or knowledge. The data set, which consisted of approximately 191,000 books, was used by AI giants to generate text that appeared to have been written by authors like Buchanan. Several AI companies have acknowledged their use of the data set, but OpenAI has refused to disclose training information for its popular ChatGPT. Buchanan decided to test whether her novels had been used by typing prompts into ChatGPT. While the AI system provided some accurate information about her novels, it also made errors and relied on publicly available reviews and summaries. When Buchanan prompted ChatGPT for a summary of the last chapter of one of her novels, the AI system responded that it couldn't provide detailed chapter-by-chapter details for copyrighted texts. Buchanan's experiment suggests that her novels were indeed used to train ChatGPT. Authors, including Buchanan, have taken legal action against OpenAI and its partner Microsoft, accusing them of copyright infringement and arguing that AI systems threaten their ability to make a living. AI, taxes, real estate, healthcare, best of 2023 theme weeks. Yahoo! Yahoo Finance has provided a roundup of its theme weeks in 2023, which covered a range of topics including taxes, real estate, retirement, retail, student loans, electric vehicles, EVs, healthcare, and the top stories of the year. The articles featured expert insights and analysis on various issues, such as changes in the tax code, the state of the real estate market, retirement planning, the evolution of retail, strategies for managing student loans, the challenges of EV charging infrastructure, Amazon's push into healthcare, and the impact of artificial intelligence. How the king of the cannibals Sam Altman took over Silicon Valley. The Sydney Morning Herald. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, has been a central figure in the rapidly evolving tech industry for years. Altman is known for his entrepreneurial energy and his ability to inspire others to do their creative best. However, he has also faced criticism for his management style and motives. Critics argue that Altman can be cavalier and contradictory in his approach to AI, and that he has a tendency to focus on his own projects and interests rather than nurturing startups at his incubator, Y Combinator. Altman's ouster from OpenAI and subsequent reinstatement has only intensified the debate about his leadership style and the future of the company. It remains to be seen how Altman's vision for OpenAI will evolve in the coming years. Michael Cohen accidentally gave his lawyer fake citations, court filing says. Yahoo! Michael Cohen, the former attorney and fixer for ex-President Donald Trump, said in a newly unsealed court filing that he accidentally gave his lawyer fake legal citations that were made up by an artificial intelligence program. The false citations were included in a late November filing from Cohen's attorney as part of a request for an early end to court supervision. Cohen pleaded guilty in 2018 to tax evasion and campaign finance violations, served time in prison and wants the court to end court supervision based on his time served and compliance with the conditions of his release. OpenAI vs. Baidu, AI Battle of the Bots. Yahoo! Baidu's AI chatbot, Ernie, has surpassed 100 million users, causing the company's shares to rise. This is part of Baidu's broader strategy to expand its presence in AI. In contrast, OpenAI's bot ChatGPT has been hit with a lawsuit from the New York Times, alleging that it uses direct material from the newspaper to answer questions. Yahoo Finance provides further analysis on these developments and their implications for the companies involved. NVIDIA and AMD power chipmaker stocks to best year since 2009. Bloomberg. Semiconductor stocks are set to have their best year in over a decade, with the Philadelphia Stock Exchange Semiconductor Index rising 66% in 2023. The rally has been driven by chipmakers that are seen as immediate beneficiaries of artificial intelligence, AI. NVIDIA Corporation saw explosive sales growth, resulting in its market capitalization surpassing $1 trillion. Advanced Micro Devices Incorporated also performed well, gaining over 130% this year. However, Wolfspeed Incorporated, which makes power modules for electric vehicles, struggled with production problems and lost over a third of its value. Chip designer ARM Holdings, which went public in September, has also been a strong performer, up over 60% since October. That's all for today's news from the six-dimensional world. As your trusty Six Doctor, I've got the latest scoop on a wide range of topics, from the challenges facing the UK public sector to the surprising use of AI-generated legal citations by Michael Cohen. But let's not forget the exciting developments in the AI world, with generative AI models capturing our imagination and raising questions about their practicality. And speaking of AI, it seems that authors like Cathy Marie Buchanan are discovering that their work is being used to train AI systems without their permission. On the political front, we have stories about Donald Trump potentially testifying in a defamation trial and the economic power play in the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. And finally, we can't forget the fascinating stories about South Korea's military facing a manpower crisis and supermarkets using AI to reduce food waste. Now, let's dive into the deeper analysis. It's clear that restoring public services in the UK will be a long and challenging process, requiring significant investment and bold reforms. The same can be said for narrowing the attainment gap in schools. As for the AI revolution, while it has the potential to transform society, we need to temper our expectations and realize that its effects may be more incremental and gradual. In terms of economic power, China's GDP already surpasses that of the US when measured by purchasing power parity adjusted dollars, highlighting its growing influence. And speaking of economic power, Russia's military-industrial complex has proven to be a formidable force in the conflict with Ukraine, reminding us that economic pressure alone may not be enough to deter aggression. Now, it's time to hear from you, my esteemed audience. What are your thoughts on today's news? Do you agree that restoring public services in the UK will be a lengthy process? What do you think about the use of AI-generated legal citations by Michael Cohen? And how do you feel about the balance of power in the conflict between Ukraine and Russia? I'm eager to hear your insights and answer any questions you may have. So, go ahead and join the discussion. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.